Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the video. Today we got a brand new look into Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Zombies. On screen, right behind my webcam, we get to see the brand new trailer for Ashes of the Dam cinematic. We're going to be breaking down a lot of things in this video. I've been watching it a few times and I didn't find a lot of information for you guys, especially for the Antagonist character. So stay tuned for that. But further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and hide my webcam, and you can go ahead and enjoy this intro cutscene if you haven't seen it already. If you have, by all means, there'll be timestamps below, you can skip past it. But let's go ahead and get right into it.
Welcome to the party. You got that straight. It is a party, and y'all are the guests of honor. Or, technically, the main course. And who the fuck are you? I know. Y'all are confused. So was I. But as they say, this too shall pass. See y'all real soon. In the meantime, why don't y'all get to know some of the natives? Kill them or be killed! You all are some bona fide cutthroat killers. This is gonna be fun.
So, as you guys just seen, trailer looks very amazing. Now, let's go ahead and dig deep into what is actually going on here because there's a lot of information. So, we're going to run the video back and we're going to break down a lot of timestamps I wrote down on a piece of paper and basically break down what's going on here, right? And basically try to connect the dots. So, let's go ahead and do that real quick. So, I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit more. So, with the initial intro scene, that is a pickup from the Easter egg, The Reckoning. So, we actually see this once we complete the Easter egg for that map. Now, they did say that they were going to have a lot of these with Black Ops 7 to continue the story and actually have every single map actually connect and make sense. So, right here is where it would be. we see our characters come into the dark aether. And then you see the crew coming in from the right, behind my webcam, of course. And they get welcomed by Rick Toffin, and then it cuts off. And here is the introduction of the new antagonist. They call him the Shadow Smith. But who exactly is he? So, real quick, he has the cowboy boots on, right? That's one giveaway. Then hear his voice. Look at his outfit, the cowboy hat, and he has a long coat, and he also has a red shirt and red, not red pants, but he has his trousers or pants on, right?
The main course. And who the fuck are you? I know. Y'all are confused.
So right here, we get to see his sword, right? So we can actually understand what time period this person or this entity is from. So we got the sword, we got the outfit. Also, look at the buttons, right? That is very important because not so many outfits use this type of, you know, attire, if you could say. So it has a sword, the buttons, the long coat, the trousers, the cowboy boots,
So was I.
the emblem on the head. That is extremely important.
But as they say,
And then now he's wearing glasses here, which is kind of out of the time frame, so he must have gotten these later on, but it does fit his attire really well for his character. But this is what I found out about this gentleman here. You see, I did my research and I found out a lot of stuff, such as the shield and swords cowboy hat. So basically, that is actually true, and it was used within the cavalry for the United States Army. Now, here is cavalry Exognias, right? Um, I couldn't really find anything similar to what he had other than um this right here. So, of course, Civil War enlisted hat Insognia 1858 to 1872 for this one. And this is pre-Civil War right here. So they do look identical. Now, the ones that this guy has on his helmet or his hat looks very plain, and there's really nothing in the top or left hand corner. So we can roll out some of these designs. So it doesn't really look so bulky like this one, but this one, on the other hand, looks like it. So this guy could be pre-Civil War. Now, the reason why it's so important to understand the time and the area this guy is from is his attire. You see, right here, lieutenants typically carried the cowboy hat, the long coat, the button style, and also the sword on the side. So, most likely, this person that we're dealing with most likely is a lieutenant. Also, if you look at the badges and stuff, if we could say that something that probably correlates to his hat with his badge, because you couldn't really see any type of call signs on his uniform simply because it's very weathered and worn down, I would assume he was either a colonel or probably a general. Who knows? But he was a high ranking individual within this time period. And he says something right up here, and this is extremely important. It kind of fits the era where this gentleman or this person is from. This too shall pass. Now, that is a quote that has famously been used during the Civil War era. Actually, this right here was used in reference to the Civil War, right? Not a direct quote from the war itself, but rather a story recounted by Abraham Lincoln in 1859, where he speaks of an Eastern king who asked for a said sediment that the true and appropriate in all times and situations. The wise man presented the words, and this too shall pass away. Lincoln used this sentiment as a message of hope and consolation for those in affection and a caution against pride both before and during the Civil War. So, of course, this gentleman that we have as our main antagonist is in fact from the Civil War era. Now, our main characters, we know what time frame they're from. They're from the early Cold War era, which is like the early 60s, going into our current era now, following the Cold War storyline. Now we get to see an introduction of the four main characters Nikolai, Takeo, Debsey, and Richtofen, these gentlemen right here. Now, there is someone that actually traced back their uniform styles, and these are all. I think I got it on another tab actually. Let me see here. I think I got it. I don't, but I did see someone break it down, and they are all from the same era, from the 1900s to, Vietnam War. So they're all from the same, like, century, if you could say. And this Civil War guy that we see in the whole thing, the Shadow Smith, this guy is pre. So this guy's older than all of them, which you can tell by just the coloring of his skin. It's more of a white, worn down, older color. So he's clearly old, right? But with him sucking their souls in and stuff, he probably is surviving off of that. So that's who our character is. This main antagonist is, in fact, a pre Civil War or Civil War era person, most like a lieutenant, someone who led his cavalry, which can basically explain why he's quoting a famous quote from the era. Now, that is something I caught on, and it's very interesting that they're making this guy an antagonist, someone who was from Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, or MWZ Zombies, and finally seeing him face to face makes a lot of sense. Also, look at his eyes; they're white, which could probably be which could be because of him sucking the souls up. Who knows? We'll learn more about it as the game develops, and we get to see a lot more of this person. So there's that, a huge chunk of information. Also, right up here, we get to see the head. We see something similar to this in Zetsubo no Shima on Black Ops 3 Zombies. The wonder weapon for that map was the head, and it did something similar to this. It sucked the souls out of the zombies, right? So we get to see a re envisioned but similar concept here. Now, how did this guy acquire this? Who knows? This is Dark 8. There are a lot of things have been acquired throughout the years. But it's very interesting seeing an implementation of this returning back into the original theme for the zombie storyline, which so far a lot of nostalgia is being hit. You got the original crew, you got a potential wonder weapon being used on them, sucking their soul out of them, and then you got this pre or Cold War, not Cold War, I'm tripping, Civil War era individual. So there's that. Very interesting. Then we get to see some quotes from our characters. As you can see, their souls got sucked. This guy ingested them right here, or consumed them. His eyes glow up even brighter, so most likely that's from him taking people's souls.
See y'all real soon.
See y'all real soon, using y'all, traditional cowboy slang, probably slang that was used during that time era. Who knows?
In the meantime, why don't y'all get to know some of the natives?
So he actually, you can hear him as like an announcer. We'll probably hear him for the max ammo drops. We'll probably hear him for the double points, and many other things like that. Clearly, this person is extremely powerful in this realm. So he's able to pass and phase through things by opening a portal, by not even lifting a hand, right? So he's a very powerful individual. And now he's activating or reanimating these zombies that died, right? So as you can see in this cutscene for the characters, something got stolen from them. Their eyes are white just like his, but they got a lot of purple veins running throughout their bodies. They could become demonic, who knows? But their souls probably got stolen. Right there, we got a quote from Nikolai: "Hell pigs and kill them or be killed." Now we get this very awesome cinematic for the zombie map, and honestly, it looks pretty damn cool. So as they fight off the wave of zombies, you get to see a lot of the new weapons for Black Ops 7. And I really do like the art style for them. They look very modern, right? They look semi-futuristic, but they're fitting the theme for the time period, which is nice. Also, you get to see some of the stuff that was used or found during Reckoning with the intel files. Like you see the katana, and it's just cool seeing that, you know, them actually using it. And also the zombies' eyes, they are yellow. And right there, we get to see an armored zombie with explosive rounds on them. Potentially, that could be another zombie type coming. Who knows? All right, so that is it for that. Now let's cut it back a few frames and break down this right here. So right here, right off the rip, we see a zombie bear. There's going to be a zombie bear as probably a boss zombie, which is pretty cool. We get to see this zombie in the back. This looks like, let's see if I could zoom in on it. Oh, it won't let me. I'll take a screenshot. But this looks like the zombie from Transit. I forgot the name. It started with a D. It would follow you around once you enter the fog, and it would attack you. And you'd be spamming your gavel knuckles or Bowie knife or knife just to get it off your head. So we see a return of these guys, probably a reskinned version of them, which is pretty cool. Then we could see an era of zombies within the area that fit the theme, similar to like Transit would, right? Because you gotta think this is Liberty Falls, and the area that we're in probably is part of the big map, right? So that is really it for the breakdown for the video. Really interested on seeing more development throughout that main antagonist character, the Shadowsmith, and I'm curious on who this person is and how they got their powers. Also, I am really intrigued on learning more about the development with the old crew, which is the Dark Aether crew that we just got, of course. They're not anything related to the crew that we've had in the past. They're something entirely new, but I'm intrigued by it. And I'm really curious on how they all play a role, because we know how Weaver's crew ends at a table, and that is coming up very soon. So I want to know how they get there. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for today's video. I really do appreciate you tuning in and hearing my theory on who this Shadowsmith individual is. If you're hyped for Black Ops 7 Zombies, by all means hit that sub button below and turn on post notification. We got a lot of things being worked on in the background for this game, and I will in fact be one of your biggest Call of Duty creators for Black Ops 7 when it comes to breakdowns for everything on the game. So if you're interested and are also intrigued and curious on that type of information, hit that sub button and join the Bucket Gang. I will see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next. Bye, everybody. SweatyMop.
Call of Duty boss to swing the mop and get sweaty. Mount the rifle on the ledge, hit you with the heady. Got you in a spawn trap, melt you like jelly. 7.62 needles going through your belly. Bucket gang in this thing, and the whole squad ready. Chopper gun and got news, dropping like confetti. Follow all the socials, this is Bucket Gang Unity. SweatyMop, the future of the COD.